Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy Coop back at it again with another absolute banger UFC predictions video. This week we had Manel Kape versus Kyoji Horiguchi for some fucking reason at the UFC Apex because Dana White doesn't know how to run his fucking company. Why this isn't main eventing fucking Saitama Super Center or whatever the fuck it's called over in Japan, it makes no sense to me. But you know what? I guess we'll fucking move on from that. First thing I want to talk about before we get into the prelims, UFC Freedom 250, the last fight card we just had. Obviously, that's like the fucking Super Bowl for us, and goddamn, did it deliver. Also, my picks pretty much for the most part delivered. We went 5 for 7. Only thing we fumbled was the co-main and main. And honestly, with the main event, how could you have predicted that? Justin Gaethje, I love you, brother. You have nothing else left to prove. You obtained the one thing that you were chasing after. You did it on the biggest stage possible against the toughest opponent you possibly could have been up against. I mean, just perfect. Justin Gaethje, please fucking retire, bro. Like, love you, dog. But it's time, like, you have nothing else to prove. There's no reason to go out there and even chance it. Like, yes, I guess you could build on your legacy. You could go out there and, you know, avenge a loss to Charles or avenge the loss to Max or any of these things. Or maybe Conor McGregor beats Max and we get to see that. But it's like, I just don't see a point in that. I think that Justin Gaethje should just retire. You know, he got the undisputed belt. That's what he was chasing. And he got that sick-ass fucking, the UFC Freedom 250 belt, which, like, that belt is so fucking sick and such a Gaethje belt. Like, him and Strickland are the only two people that I can think of off the top of my head. I guess maybe Colby Covington is the only other fighter that I'm like, man, those are like the most American dudes. So, I guess Michael Chandler, I guess, but he I don't think him or Colby would ever be touching anything like that. Prime Colby, maybe. But anyways, and I guess Prime Chandler for that matter. Prime Michael Chandler was something to behold, but, you know, slimed out by Mauricio Hufi this weekend. Sad to see, but I knew it was going to happen. Sean O'Malley, exactly what I predicted would happen, happens, catches him with a straight punch, puts him down bad, and then that follow-up shot was something of beauty. I mean, that is going to be a shot that Joe Rogan is saying, Jamie, pull up when Sean O'Malley absolutely killed Amin Zahabi at the UFC Freedom 250 card. I mean, the precision on that shot, you guys, was just unbelievable. And Theo Von sitting across from him like, yeah, man, yeah. Like, I don't know. It's just, it's fucking crazy that even happened. It was a sick spectacle. I loved every minute of it. Really hope they do something else. You know, I would love to see him go to either the Coliseum or, you know, fighting in front of the Eiffel Tower. Just something spectacle like that. Something like, you know, the Pyramids of Giza. I know they just did that with boxing. And that venue was cool, but the UFC Freedom 250 venue was super duper sick. That, like, structure that they built around the cage that had the lighting and all that looked absolutely, like, amazing. I don't think I've seen anything else like that, and I don't think enough people are talking about how good that looked. Like, that was pretty sick. All the dumbass AI shit, fuck that. But like, visually, besides that, it was very cool. You know, and obviously they don't have to use that. They're just fucking cheap and dumb, so they decided to use that. I don't think I have anything else. I mean, Alex Pereira getting slimed out fucking sucked. Cyril gone, back of the head shots. But it was trending that way. I mean, a lot of people are defending Alex Pereira's, like, appeal. I don't see that going through. It was trending that way regardless. I guess it could get overruled to a no contest because those were clearly illegal blows. But either way, it's just, it wasn't a good look for Pereira, and I don't think that he should stay at heavyweight if he's going to continue to fight. Josh Hawkett, I mean, the kid's a fucking animal. Looked absolutely mauled Derek Lewis. Said some controversial shit about the Obamas. Not gonna bring that really into the video, but just wild shit. He's definitely got some balls on him, I'll say that. But yeah, I think we're gonna move on to the prelims of this card. Sorry for yapping, but, you know, just I didn't want to do a whole breakdown video because I mean I had a lot to say, but I didn't think that I could really stretch it to the length of the quality that I wanted to get it to, so I just decided to kind of chuck it on at the beginning of this video. Anyways, moving on, we have Shane Collin versus Otari Tanzalovi. Tanzalovi, pretty decent on his feet, pretty good kicks. I think Shane Collins is definitely going to look to grapple, but I could definitely see him having some success with that. I think this is going to be a decision win for Shane Collins. I think that he is just going to be a little bit too much in the grappling department for Tanzalovi, but don't be surprised if Tanzalovi keeps him at range, you know, lands some good kicks, maybe catches him, but I think it's going to be a decision either way, but I'm going Shane Collins. Moving on, we have Carol Rosa versus Luana Santos. Carol Rosa in her last fight, her boxing looked pretty good. She looked pretty decent on the feet. And Luana Santos, I feel like she struggles on the feet. But and Carol Rosa, she's not she's not bad on the ground either. Luana's definitely, I would say, the superior grappler, and she has some pretty sick judo throws. I could see those coming into play. But if I had to bet my money on it, I'm going to go Carol Rosa to win a decision here. I think she's just going to be too much for her on the feet and is going to she's just going to look better. She's going to have a better jab. She's going to land more combinations. And yeah, I think she's just going to outdamage Luana Santos to a decision. Moving on, we have Leon Shabazian, Edmund Shabazian's brother, versus Levon Chokoli. I mean, Shabazian, he's tall, he's lanky for the division. But I think Levon Chokoli, I mean, the only thing that I really know about this dude is that he has a fucking sick, like, Anderson Silva style front kick knockout in Bellator. Like, absolutely just put the fucking lights out of the dude that he was fighting. And he seems to have pretty good power, pretty good striking on the feet. And I'm going to go with Chokoli to get this one done by TKO. I think Leon keeps his head up, and, you know, he's tall. I think he's going to get chinned here. That's what I see happening, but, you know, we shall see. Moving on up the card, we have Gaston Bolaños versus Michael Aswell Jr. Gaston Bolaños is moving up, and he is fighting a guy that moved down to 145. And I think that that's going to be kind of an issue for him. I think Michael Aswell is going to be obviously just the bigger dude, even though he doesn't really have that much of a reach advantage or any reach advantage. He has 1 inch in height, and I think he's just going to have that bigger frame than Gaston Bolaños while he's out there. And on top of that, his boxing looks really good. He looked really good against Luke Riley. He didn't look bad at all. You know, definitely in it in moments. And I just see him being too much for Gaston Bolaños on the feet. Gaston Bolaños obviously has some pretty good kicks, but other than that, I think Aswell probably just has him beat in every aspect of the game. And he's a bit bigger than him. So I think that Michael Aswell is going to go out there and probably going to get a sick TKO standing up against the cage, if I had to guess. Now we have Alan Nascimento versus Mitch Raposo. This matchmaking, I'm not really sure, I think Nascimento's a lot bigger, but I think he's just better in every single aspect of fighting. Like, he's a better grappler. I think he has more power on the feet. I think he's just going to be able to do more. And I think he's just going to be too much for Mitch Raposo. I think he's going to finish Mitch Raposo probably in the grappling. But I could see it being, you know, the striking that leads it there. I think that he's going to maybe land a big shot, maybe a right hand that sits Mitch Raposo down, and then he's just going to lock up a choke, and that will be all she wrote. So yeah, I'm going submission for Alan Nascimento in that one. Moving on up the card, we have Beatriz Mesquita versus Melissa Dixon. Both of these girls kind of are like blockhead, just going to throw some shit whenever they're striking. Melissa Dixon, she's not awful in the grappling, but she's not at the top of the division, in my opinion. Beatriz is kind of the same there. And I think in the striking, Beatriz is a little bit more powerful and just a little bit more sharp. So I'm going to pick her to get it done by decision. Moving on up the card, we have Andre Lima versus Kevin Borjas. this is another just case, I feel like, of a little bit unfortunate matchmaking for Kevin Bourjas. I don't think he's bad at all. I definitely think he's a UFC level dude, but the guys that they're putting him up against are just like Joshua Van, like the fucking champion of the division, was the first dude this guy fought in the UFC, I'm pretty sure. And he hasn't had very many easy fights at all. I think he's got one win in the UFC and he's just been losing. But he's not losing bad. But this is another guy that I see him losing against. Andre Lima, 11-0. He's got good power on the feet. He's pretty decent everywhere. I could see Bourjas keeping it at range and kind of, looking good early on. But I think as the fight progresses, Andre Lima's just going to catch him. And I could see him getting put out pretty bad here. I'll be honest with you. So I'm going Andre Lima by KO. All right, moving on to the main card, we have Vinicius Oliveira versus Andre Fili. This is Vinicius Oliveira moving on up to featherweight after losing to Mario Bautista. And honestly, I can kind of see the same type of thing happening to him here against Andre Fili. Andre Fili is pretty good. He's pretty technically sound. I mean, yes, he drops his hands a lot, but I mean, Oliveira isn't just out there finishing people, and he was definitely just physicality mogging the people that he was beating. Down at fucking bantamweight. So I just see Vinicius Oliveira fucking going out there and like trying to do the same shit that he's been doing, and it's not gonna work against somebody who's bigger than him and is more crisp in the striking like Andre Fili is. And I think Andre Fili is probably going to knock out Vinicius Oliveira. That is my prediction. Moving up the card, we have Melsik Bagdasaryan versus Murtazali Magomedov. Melsik Bagdasaryan's pretty sick on the feet, will not lie to you. In the first round, I think it will be pretty tough for Murtazali Magomedov. I think that Melsik's probably going to put a pace on him, if you will. He's going to be up in his face and he's going to be trying to get him out of there. But I think Murtazali will weather the storm or just catch him with a big counter shot in the first round. I think he's more powerful, and I can see Murtazali Magomedov getting the TKO finish against Melsik Bagdasaryan. Moving up the card, we have Haider Emil versus Christian Rodriguez. This is kind of a similar fight in my head, honestly. I think Haider Emil is going to, put the pressure on early. He's a combination puncher, but he's definitely not as good in the grappling department, and he's definitely not as powerful. And I think that, C-Rod here is going to be able to force the clinch. He's going to be able to land some body shots. He's going to be able to force the grappling, and I can see him wearing Haider Emil down, second round, maybe early third round. He has Haider Emil tired and hurt, and he latches up a submission. I think he will get Haider Emil out of there by submission late in the fight. Moving up to the co-main event, we have Ion Cutelaba versus Navajo Sterling. This fight intrigues me a lot, honestly. Cutelaba is kind of that guy that he's a good test. He beats some guys that I don't think that he should be, and then on the other hand, he goes out there and he gets beat up sometimes. And I think that this is a good way to see if Navajo Sterling striking is really on that, city kickboxing upper echelon level. We've seen him do well. I think he's going to fight behind the jab well. I think he's going to be slow, and I don't know if that is the style that you need for Cutelaba. I think Cutelaba is going to come at you fast, and he's going to put it on you, and I think a counter striker will do well against him if he doesn't get overwhelmed. But I think Navajo Sterling has kind of that tendency to get overwhelmed a little bit, and so we will see if we'll just see how he reacts, honestly. I'm still going to pick him. I think that he will sit Cutelaba down in this fight, but I don't think that he'll get the finish. He's not the type to, rush for the finish, and I think that might cost him a little bit later in his career. Not saying that it'll cost him against Cutelaba or anything, but I think it could cost him later on in his career against some of these better guys that are more you know, capable of finishing you late in a fight. You know, if he does that shit against Yuri Prohaska, it doesn't matter how many times Yuri's dropped. If he keeps him in the fight, he's, you know, you can get fucking killed. So, I'm going to go ahead and pick Navajo, but I am worried for him. Finally, we have the main event. This is a fight I've been waiting for. This is a fight I really didn't want to happen. I wanted both these guys to have other opponents so that they could both separately fight for the belt at different times. But, you know, we were gifted this fight, and it is a beautiful, great fight. It's going to be sick. It's going to be really, really fun. And, you know, it already has happened before, and I'll be honest with you, I think it's going to play out pretty similarly. Although both of these guys are better than when they fought last time, Kyoji Horiguchi still has that same type of movement, and it's only gotten better. It only has gotten better. And if you watch that first fight, his right hand was a fucking pistol that could not miss against Manel Kape. He was dropping Manel Kape left and right with the fucking right hand all over the fucking ring. And then he latches up a choke and gets him out of there. And I don't think that he'll get Manel Kape out of there early. I think that if it ends early, it's going to Manel Kape. He just catches Kyoji. But I do think that he has the style to beat Manel Kape, and I think he could do it by decision, or I think that he could also stop him late like he did last time. Manel Kape puts a lot of energy out there, and that obviously, you know, when you expel energy, you gas out, you get tired. And Horiguchi, he doesn't really get tired, man. He's out there just fucking moving constantly, and he's just putting, like, the look that you get from Kyoji Horiguchi is unlike anybody else. He has such good movement. He's like, this is a weird way to describe it, but he's almost has an MVP-like style where he blitzes in, but he actually does more damage, and he's more willing to truly throw. He has more in his arsenal. But I do think that he has a good chance of being the next flyweight champion of the world. I think both of these guys realistically can beat Joshua Van. I'm not sure about Pantoja. I think Kyoji Horiguchi versus Pantoja is a closer fight than Manel Kape versus Pantoja. But, I mean, both of them have a great shot at being champion. And I could see both of these guys being UFC champion in their career. I think Manel Kape isn't going anywhere. And, you know, I honestly think it might be the time of Kyoji. So we shall see. Winner deserves a title shot, needs a title shot. I don't want to see either of these guys lose, but I have to. My gut's telling me Kyoji Horiguchi's just kind of got him figured out. Like, I don't think he would have taken this fight. I don't think he needed to take this fight unless he was just confident that he could beat Manel Kape again. And so I think that's the case here. Anyways, guys, I will recap my picks, and then that'll be it. We got Shane Collins, Kale Rosa, Levan Chokoli, Michael Aswell Jr., Alan Nascimento, Beatriz Mesquita, Andre Lima, Andre Fili, Murtazali Magomedov, Christian Rodriguez, Navajo Sterling, and Kyoji Horiguchi. Those are my picks for this UFC Fight Night card. Make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, share the video, comment on the video, anything like that. It truly helps me out a ton. I appreciate it so much. Love you guys. Peace.